In this session, we'll see how to work with WCF. Okay, practical implementation of WCF. Before going to proceed, we have to know basic things. So first thing is points to understand. WCF service will be extended with .svc. Second is it works with interface pattern model. In interface, we have to declare methods. Those will be defined at service level. Method uh, class will be decorated with service contract attribute. Method will decorated as an operation contract attribute. Operation contract attribute. So these are the basic things that you want to know. Now we'll see steps to work with WCF. First is go to Visual Studio. Click on File, New, Project. Go to Visual Studio, File, New, Project. So now we have to select WCF. So go to Visual C Sharp. Here you might find WCF. You'll find WCF service application. Okay. So now your second step is select Visual C Sharp from the installed templates. Find WCF service application. Select it. And name it and click on OK. This is WCF service application, right? So here I'm changing service app. Click on OK. See, your service will be extended with .svc, right? So you have an interface. This is your interface. So it will be binded with service contract, and method is an operation contract. This is a method, and this is another method. So predefinedly they will provide a methods for our sake of understanding purpose. Click F12 on it, and its definition is provided in the service.svc. So this method is going to return some data. So you entered some value like this. You will provide that. It will return the data for us. Okay. So now what I'm trying to do is I will remove these two things. So now I will add new thing. Right click on this, click on add new item. So this is our WCF service. Change your name of the service. Suppose intro service. I have an interface. Interface always starts with I letter. That's the reason where you will get I intro service. So this is the definition. So basically you have to provide whatever the method that you have to provide the 100% definition there itself. I want to change. I want to provide string get random number. This is a method. I want to provide a definition for this method. String number equal to string dot empty. In order to generate a random number in .NET, we have a class random class. R equal to, first of all we have to create a object for this random class, and we have a methods next double or something. So use the method, whatever the method that you want. So I'm assigning that value to number equal to convert dot to string of r dot next return number. Now build this application. Just I'm returning one random number. So now what I'm doing, go to Solution Explorer, right click on your service and click on View in Browser. So now your service is got created. So in order to use your service, so we can implement, we can make use of an object in order to access this one. So we have to expose, or we have to consume the services in any of the application. In that application we can access this one. Okay, this is the way how we are going to create a service. So now consume a WCF service in our application. How to consume. Okay, so now we'll see steps for consuming a service. First of all, I'm consuming with the help of a console based application. Later on we'll see with web application. Create a console application. Create a console application. So first I'm creating console application. Go to Visual Studio, File, New, Project, and here you might notice that console application is available. So just WCF, you'll name it as like this, WCF client. Okay, now your service is available in this endpoint. This is nothing but endpoint. So, you can observe the web config of this service. Okay, so the basic binding is basic HTTP binding, and here this is your service system service model. This is a service model. So HTTP, to avoid disclosing metadata, set the values below false before deployment. So generally we can make it as false before deployment. So service metadata will be available to the end users. HTTP get enabled. Suppose if I make it to false, this also false. HTTP and other is HTTPS. So this is a basically with the binding of basic HTTP binding. Now what I'm trying to do is just view in browser. So this behavior information is provided here. So behavior information provided for us. So now whenever we are trying to consume the services, particular endpoint and particular service methods that will be available once you create an endpoint for your service. Okay. So for this, so whenever we are trying to consume a service, first of all we have to understand about the endpoint URL. So our endpoint URL is localhost, some port number, and some URL is going, some method name is going to be provided for us. So intro services. So in this context, localhost intro service.svc. So in intro service we have a multiple number of methods, right? Each and every method will be available once you are going to create an proxy. So those methods are available for us. So proxy means by using endpoint we are going to create a proxy. We'll see practically how we are going to create a proxy and how we are going to access this information in another client itself. So these things we'll see. Now this is my console application, right? So in this console application I would like to run my service. So my service has to be in run mode. Then only it will provide the services to the client itself. Now come to your client itself. This is your client. Just right click on this, go to the solution explorer. So our second step is go to solution explorer, right click on the project and click on service reference and pass the endpoint URL. So now what I'm trying to do is just right click on this, click on add service reference, pass your endpoint URL. So I'm sorry, this is your endpoint URL. Click on go. So this is your service reference. So you can change it to my service. Click on OK. Change the service reference and click on OK. So it is providing some information. There is an error in downloading There was an error downloading metadata from the address. Please verify that you have entered a valid address. So some information. So if I make use of, just a minute, if I make to call, so bad request metadata contains a reference that cannot be resolved. The client and service bindings may be mismatched. Cannot process the message. Some error is displaying for us. If the service is defined and current, try building the solution, adding the service reference again. Okay. So let us build our solution once and we will check. So we got all services. Got again. We'll try one more time. Add service reference. Logis. In web.config we changed something, right? So just to change that to false. Sorry, true. Yesterday we get enabled, make it to true. So before deployment, we have to change this to yes. Now it got successful. Just browse it. You in browser. So now apply the endpoint URL in your service. Add service reference. Just click on go. So you won't get any error, right? So just you can choose my service and click on OK. So now your service reference got added. So that is my service. So now you can consume my service dot client obj equal to new. We can access obj dot get random number is my function. So you can call get random number. In console dot write line random number is plus obj dot get random number. Console dot read line. Just execute this one. So you'll get some random number. So it starts with 19 something and now 173 something. So again we'll execute this one. So now 8811 something. So always a unique number will generated for us. So 123 will. So in this way, so now we are able to communicate with service and we are trying to fetch some information by creating an object for our service. So far, am I clear? This is your
Yes, sir.
client. This is my console application, and this is my service itself. Now what I'm trying to do is I will create one more method here itself. I will create one more method. My method is going to be returns some decimal output for us. So what decimal output is? So I would like to consider an operation contract to declare a method. So decimal calculate bill. So this is a decimal value, expecting a decimal as a value. So now we are going to provide a definition in service.svc. So what I'm trying to do is public double, just I'm using, so decimal equal to final amount. So I want to find calculate the GST for this particular item, so which is related to the computer peripherals, and default GST is 18%. Consider value into 18% means 18 by 100. Final amount equal to value plus value into 18 by 100 means that total tax return final amount. If we pass some amount automatically, so you will get some output. So here that output will be defined in this way. So one is your amount, and after the passing of your amount, you are going to calculate a tax plus your amount. So that will be your final amount, right? So now calculate bill requires a parameter, that is value as a parameter. So now what I'm trying to do is, first of all, you know, build this application, and once you got build your application, just right click on your service, click on update service reference, because earlier we have only one method, now you implemented a new method. So in order to populate those results, or in order to populate that into our service, sorry, in our client, then we have to use update service reference. Every time if you change it in your WCF service, you have to use this update service reference. Click on update service reference. Now your service reference got updated. So now what we are trying to do is console. We are asking enter and purchasing amount. So here I'm considering this is decimal, right? So I'm considering decimal purchase value equal to 0. Console dot purchase value equal to convert dot to decimal of console dot read line. So now total amount to be paid, including tax, is plus obj dot, what is that, calculate bill. It has to pass purchase value. So in this way we are going to find out the information. Just I'm executing this one. Enter a purchasing value, so 1500. So total amount to be paid including with taxes 1500. So why it is only in 1500? Some calculation might be wrong or what? Yes, calculation is wrong. Just it should be, so value into 18 by 100. Rebuild this application. Again, update your service reference. Now execute this one. I provided 1500 as a value, you will get 1770, means 18% tax. 270 rupees is tax. Suppose if you purchase 100 rupees and 18 rupees be your tax itself. So likewise, you will pass something 1000 and 180 rupees is your tax. Likewise, we will calculate our tax with the help of our WCF service. So far, am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now we will see how we are going to communicate with the database. So before going to that, just I'm opening my database. Select the star from tbl underscore basic info. Okay, let us consider. Let us check with this student information. Okay. So first of all, what I'm trying to do is I will establish a connection from my WCF service to backend itself. So first is I'm creating. So using system.data, I has to return a data table. Get student info. You have to use public, otherwise it won't be accessible to outside world. It requires system.data and it also requires system.data.sql client. So now I would like to establish. So first of all, I would like to take DT student info. Now we are trying to create SQL connection. Server equal to dot integrated security database. I declare these things at globally, and I would like to declare SQL command also, and SQL data adapter also. Now cmd equal to new SQL command, comma connection. Pass your query in double quotes. Select a star from table students. So now di equal to cmd. Next data table is there, no problem. So we'll see data DA dot fill of DT student information and return DT student info. I just build my service. So here nothing is there. Establishing a connection, just open your connection and close your connection. I consider data table object in order to return my data. Okay. So pass my query and executed at data adapter level. Data adapter fills the data into my table. So my method is returns a data table. Now what I'm trying to do is I will consume this method in my console application. So here consider system.data. Here I'm considering student information was. So here I would like to represent only name and qualification. That's it. Name plus one tab space plus double quotes qualification. So first update your service so that then only your method will be available here. Just click on update service reference. Okay, your service got updated. So now you have to consider one data table. Data table my student info equal to new data table. So my student info equal to obj dot get student info. This is the method. Obj is an object for our service. So WCF service. Please be noticed that. So now my data is available with my student info data table. So I'm checking non-nullable condition. It doesn't contains any null values, means it always contains some values. Then only we are entering into this block. My student info comma null and my student info dot rows dot count greater than 0. So now int I equal to 0, I less than dt rows dot count I plus plus. So now in console application we'll say like this: dt dot what dt my student info dot my student info of I of name plus double quotes slash tab, means tab space is required. Again my student info of I of qualification. So this is my student info. So dot rows. Okay. So dot rows of I of name, rows of I of qualification. Now we are displaying this information. Just execute this one. So purchasing amount if I plus 2 3 6 So data is not available. It returns some error. Let us check what is the error. I'm executing this one. Hmm. An error occurred while receiving the HTTP response. This could be due to service endpoint binding not using HTTP role. This could also be due to an HTTP request control being aborted, possibly due to service shutdown. See service log for more. Okay. The problem is your service is not at all running. Because of that, you are getting an error. So first of all, you have to execute your service. Ensure that your service is in run mode. So it uses data table. So and this is not supportable with this. Let's understand why it is not supportable. We'll go to config file section. Just will check. Okay. The problem here is whenever we are using data table is a custom class. Whenever we are going to return a data with the help of a data table or something, definitely it requires a data contract. So without data contract, we can't, define our data with a custom mode implementation so that we can add data contract in our intro service. So here we can add a class. So we'll name it as a student info. Decorate your class with data contract. Means custom types means this is also comes under custom. Integer, string, double, decimal all comes it as in predefined data types. So any other classes will comes to the custom type. If you want to use custom type in WCF, we have to declare that in the data contract format. Means our own classes. This is our, so when it is in green color, this is nothing but your class. So your class should be in a data contract format. Public. So data table. I want to return it as a data table. Data table. So student, name it as a student data table. Just you can declare get and set methods. And this is a data contract and these are the data members. Now this is okay. So instead of this, you can declare it as a student info because we are returning this class. Okay, this class contains data table as a member. So in our service also you can return this student info as a class. So here you have to create an object for your student info. Student info. So yes info equal to, you can name it as like new student info. Okay, new data table. Just your name it as a student data. So now emp dot si info. So student info dot student table equal to dt student info. Finally, we have to return dt student info only. Sorry, s info. Use here public. Inaccessible means, so if you are not accessible, if you are not mentioned it as a public, it won't be accessible. So that's the reason you will get an error. So if you want to return a return table, data table or something like that, you can declare that in data contract and return the same thing. So here just declare this, and in client we have to consume in different approach. So this is not at all returning this one, just you have to create a class. This is a class, right? Student info. So data member is not required at client level. Create an object for this data table. Sorry, student info. So s info equal to new student. So s info equal to something. Update your service reference. Here you can mention this is a table, right? So object, all these things are not required. Just directly you can use like this. It requires rows.count, and you can check rows dot execute this one. All the information is available. Name, Harsha Test, qualification, Masters, Test 1, MS, Sairam, MTech, BSc, BTech, MTech, all the things is available. Likewise, we can read the data from our WCF service. So if you want to declare a custom type, declare them it as a data contract. Through data contract only we will return the data. Okay. So this is also not at all useful. Just we are directly consuming the service. Okay. Any doubts in this example? So how we interact with the database and all those things. Are you clear?
No, sir. Yes, sir. Clear.
Clear? Okay. So in this way, we are able to communicate with the service, and we are going to fetch us an information. Okay. So that's all about basic usage of WCF. Now we will see how to convert our WCF service to Trustful service, and how we are going to see the help guide of our service. These things will cover in coming session.